Welcome back to Real Talk Behind the Badge. I'm Tim, a retired police sergeant from Massachusetts, but I now reside in South Carolina. This is our 7th podcast, and you can watch each one at realtalkbehindthebadge.com, on Facebook, or on YouTube. Today, we're going to talk about how I believe we can actually save the taxpayers millions of dollars on lawsuit payouts by using an alternate, fair method of resolving complaints against police officers. So let's get going. In the last podcast, we talked about how to save millions of dollars by changing the way payouts to complainants are made. We now have to deal with how we're going to evaluate any complaint, how officers' actions may be held accountable, and the process we should use to evaluate those actions. In addition, we're also going to see how we can deal with and punish those who make false complaints. We're going to talk about the complaint forms we need to use, what is on the complaint forms, how it would be used, the complainant's involvement, and the procedures that would dictate any discipline. I am suggesting that states adopt new legislation that will be a remedy for illegal actions or major policy infractions by officers that will go far to bring fairness to those who have been illegally deprived of their civil, legal, or constitutional rights. It will also make officers think twice about what they are doing, be held responsible for their actions, and be held responsible for any illegal actions they witness but take no action on. It will give the public a sense of fairness, that their cities, counties, and police department hears them and intends to follow all laws and policies. Let me be clear, I am not in favor of taking away an officer's immunity that they have for civil actions. As I stated before, we all make mistakes, but we also have to be aware and take action against officers who continuously make serious mistakes or continuously violate the public's rights. Whereas immunity from civil lawsuits protects the officers from honest mistakes, an officer can lose their immunity for certain violations they knew or should have known were illegal. My suggestions also would not protect them from fines that may be levied against them by legislated entities that are enacted to determine the discipline of police officers. Now, I believe using the actions outlined below will decrease federal and state civil actions against the cities, counties, and police departments, as complainants will have an alternative course they can follow that would also be beneficial to them, the government entities, and the taxpayers. It's a win-win situation for all. It will decrease the huge payouts by the courts, decrease legal fees to the insurance company funds, and thereby decrease insurance costs to cities and counties and the taxpayers. In addition, by using the following recommendations, departments will be able to determine what training needs to be emphasized and which individual officers need to be trained and/or disciplined. The following will also give the state a partnership with police agencies with a confidential database open only to policing agencies to help determine officers who need training or disciplining by keeping track of complaints and any discipline that the officer has been given, no matter what department they have been at or may be going to. Now, number 1, the state must create an Office of Professional Policing. I call it the OPP, but the name is optional. It will be staffed with independent policing professionals. Now, this goes along with what we talked about in one of our earlier podcasts about making policing truly professional. No true professions investigate themselves with those whom they work with. Number 2, we have to have uniform statewide complaint forms mandated for all law enforcement agencies that uses the Insurance Reserve Fund. All law enforcement and accredited police organizations would be required to adopt 2 standardized complaint forms that are designed by the OPP, formal and informal. Both forms need to be available at every law enforcement department or state-accredited police organization's office and online. Number 3, the state needs to adopt legislation that requires all complainants to submit formal complaints before filing any lawsuits against policing agencies. This will accomplish a couple of goals. It will let any complainant know that they don't have to file a lawsuit in order to be compensated for any illegal acts by law enforcement. It will result in smaller payouts to compensate complainants by having a professional insurance representative negotiate payments to a complainant without the use of $175 an hour lawyers. So let's get into it. Now, this is an informal complaint, and therefore when a person may or may not wish to be identified or does not want any compensation, but wants the department to have knowledge of an alleged incident. It asks for the complainant's information, which isn't required to be given, and then asks for information about the incident they are complaining about, along with any proof or other witnesses of the incident. It may or may not be signed by the complainant. The complaint may be turned into the department or sent directly to the OPP. This is also used for those who may fear any retribution. This is the formal complaints, and they're for persons wishing to lodge a complaint and be acknowledged and or compensated for what they believe are unjust or illegal actions by officers. It asks for information about the incidents they are complaining about, along with any proof and other witnesses of the incident. The complaint must be signed under the penalties of perjury. Formal complaints must also include the complainant's full name, date of birth, address, and telephone number. The formal complaint also asks if the person just wants to be acknowledged and informed of the outcome of the complaint, or if they are intending to file a lawsuit or ask for compensation or damages. If they wish compensation for damages or intend to file a lawsuit, they are asked if they would want to speak with an insurance representative. They are further advised that if they retain an attorney, an insurance representative cannot speak with them. But if they are not satisfied with the insurance representative, they can still retain an attorney. The form also advises making a false report may subject you to criminal and/or civil penalties. Now, this is where the Insurance Reserve Fund would send an insurance representative to speak to the complainant after an investigation by the OPP is completed and the officer's actions have been found to be illegal and the insurance fund is found to be liable. So, how would the OPP and formal complaints work? Formal complaints would be forwarded by the complainant directly to the OPP for investigation and shall contain the address, fax number, and email address of the OPP office on the complaint form. B, a police chief or any head of a policing organization may also forward any informal complaint along with any evidence to the state office for an independent, neutral investigation. C, all formal complaints submitted to a department or state-accredited police organization's office by a complainant are to be immediately forwarded to the OPP within X business days, along with all data outlined below. Complaints forwarded by a city, state, or county, or department or state-accredited police organization's office must include the officer's name, any and all corresponding videos, reports, documents, etc., by the department and the complainant. The OPP shall assign a case number to each complaint received. The OPP shall then send the complainant and the police organization a case number and instruct where any and how to send any videos, photos, or any evidence that may pertain to the complaint along with the case number. If any formal complaints received by a department or state-accredited police organization are not forwarded within X amount of days, absent a waiver extension, the OPP may fine the department and or personnel responsible and may decline payouts by the Insurance Reserve Fund. When a formal complaint is received by the OPP directly from the complainant, the OPP shall send the complainant a case number and instruct where and how to send any and all information and evidence that may pertain to the complaint along with the case number. The OPP shall send the complaint to the police organization along with a case number and instruct where and how to send any videos, photos, or any evidence that they may have that may pertain to the complaint along with the case number within X amount of days. The police organization shall have X amount of days to send all data requested, and absent a waiver or extension, the OPP may fine the department and or personnel responsible and may decline payouts by the IRF. The OPP will be tasked with maintaining a professional, neutral, and independent review board that will evaluate the data and actions of the officers in each formal complaint and recommend which complaints should go to a hearing for further actions. The state, county, city, or town or department or state-accredited police organization will notify the OPP of any investigation they intend to pursue relative to a complaint. The city, county, or town or department shall forward the full results to the OPP of any investigation that they have instituted and any disciplinary actions they may have taken or intend to take against an officer. Any actions taken against an officer by a city, county, or town department or state-accredited police organization shall not bind the OPP or the police certification authority to any outcome or actions they deem appropriate. The OPP may hold an investigative hearing on the actions of any officer believed to have violated a law or constitutional right of the complainant. The officer may be represented by counsel. Complainants and witnesses shall be notified and may attend any investigative hearing and be allowed to testify in person or by video. The OPP shall issue an opinion finding on each formal complaint. It shall determine one of the following. 1. All actions of the officer are believed to be legal in accordance with all laws, court decisions, and constitutional rights, and no further action will be taken. 2. All actions of the officer were believed to be legal and in accordance with all laws, court decisions, and constitutional rights, but may be in violation of the officer's departmental policies and procedures. Complaint shall be referred to the officer's department for any action and disposition. 3. Actions of the officer may be or is believed to be in violation of law, court decisions, or constitutional rights. The OPP may issue a fine or a letter of reprimand and or refer the complaint to the certifying authority and or back to the officer's department for any further action. The officer may appeal to the certifying authority. The certifying authority may confirm the action of the OPP, reduce or increase the fine. They may also take any action that's listed below. The complaint and data may be forwarded to the certifying authority without action for further review and possible action. The OPP may also refer this complaint directly to the Attorney General's office for possible criminal prosecution. 4, complaint is unsubstantiated or undetermined by reason of insufficient evidence or documentation. 5, the complaint is false and may be referred for criminal or civil penalties of the complainant. Any complaint with a finding that warrants compensation will be immediately forwarded to the Insurance Reserve Fund for financial negotiations with the complainant. Actions forwarded to the certification authority by the OPP shall be reviewed by the certification authority and a determination shall be made on the actions of the officer. The certification authority may A. suspend the officer's certification, B. revoke the officer's certification, C. turn the complaint over to the individual city, county, or state or department with any recommendations for action they deem appropriate, such as a letter of reprimand, suspension, etc. D. Find no action to be taken. E. Exonerate the officer from any wrongdoing. F. The certifying authority may also refer any complaint to the Attorney General's office for possible prosecution. Now, the OPP will be required to maintain databases. The OPP will be required to maintain a public database on all substantiated formal complaints and results of such complaints without the officer's name included. The OPP will be required to maintain a private database on all substantiated formal complaints and the results of such complaints with the officers' names included so that other police agencies may perform a search if needed. The complainant shall be notified of the final outcome of any complaint. All unsubstantiated complaints may not be made public. Complainants that have X amount of complaints or more unsubstantiated complaints will be sanctioned as a serial complainant and may be filed by the OPP without determination. The OPP shall make all rules and regulations governing the administration of the OPP, hearings, and determinations. Now there may also be benefits to the cities, counties, and departments by turning over officer discipline on major issues to the OPP. It is believed that the liability and cost for hearings and discipline will be reduced to the cities, counties, and departments' liability and legal cost, as it will not be the city or county or departments that are conducting any of the hearings or discipline. While the liability for an officer's actions will still remain with the department or the city and the IRF, any liability and cost for hearings, depositions, and defending lawsuits by the officer will fall on the OPP, which is the state, and the certifying authority. Now make sure to hit subscribe, share your thoughts, and let's keep this conversation going. This podcast, again, is ground zero. I'm not here for theories or hear myself talk. I want real answers and input from officers who've walked the walk. You and me are brother officers and sisters in blue. Let's cut through all the bullshit. Academics can keep talking all they want, but we have to build the cure. So join me at realtalkbehindthebadge.com. Drop me your state, your department, if you're active or retired, what you've seen, what solutions you have in mind. The answers are out there. We just need to find them. Let's hash out the hard fixes, stuff we can shove in front of lawmakers and make stick. We're just starting this journey. We'd be pleased to have you join us. Your voices fuel this. If you've got answers you'd like to share and you want to do it live, let me know. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, let me know also. So go to realtalkbehindthebadge.com. That's realtalkbehindthebadge.com. And drop a comment or a rant. And if you can, drop a couple of bucks to help us out and keep this thing going. This podcast stuff ain't cheap or easy on a cop retiree's salary. And you can view our podcast on YouTube, Real Talk Behind the Badge, as we make them. If you hit subscribe, you'll be notified of each podcast. Please hit the like button also. We're also on Facebook at Real Talk Behind the Badge, or at realtalkbehindthebadge.com, where you can also view all of our podcasts. Thanks to all of our brothers and sisters behind the badge. Let's keep it going and we'll get this fixed. Stay safe. This is Real Talk, signing off until next time. Thank you, and be careful out there.